Hey, it's me, Chris DeMakes, and I'm returning once again to Las Vegas to give guided tours at the Punk Rock Museum. Friday, February 13th, Saturday, February 14th, and Sunday, February 15th. That's right, Valentine's Day weekend 2026. And I can't think of a better gift for your significant other than all of us sharing punk rock memories together. I'll be giving 2 guided tours a day. Get your tickets at thepunkrockmuseum.com. Join me as I guide you through 6 decades of punk rock music, memorabilia, artifacts, musical instruments, merchandise, mementos, and so much more. Get your tickets now at thepunkrockmuseum.com. Can't wait to see you.
It's last call for football on FanDuel, with one last round of rewards every day through Super Bowl 60. One last week for one more chance. Visit the FanDuel app all week long for limited time boost every day until football runs out. FanDuel, official partner of Super Bowl 60.
New customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. 21 plus and present in select states. First online real money wager only. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
Hey, all my super rad loyal listeners. This is week 2 of our lead up to the Less Than Jake Winter Circus UK tour. Today's guest is lead vocalist Christian Jacobs, better known by his stage name MC Bat Commander, from the Huntington Beach, California rock band, the Aquabats. Together we dissect the writing, recording, and inspiration behind the fan-favorite single, Fashion Zombies, taken from their 2005 album, Charge. Produced by Cameron Webb, the album saw the Aquabats return to the studio for the first time in 6 years. Christian admitted that prior to recording Charge, that things were at a crossroads within the band, with members coming and going, and an overall general uncertainty of what to do next. Then out of nowhere, Dexter Holland from Offspring offered them a deal with his label at the time, Nitro Records. And 21 years later, the band is still rocking stages all over the world. As for Fashion Zombies, this song rules. It's rife with whoa-oh-oh sing-alongs, and just the perfect amount of Misfits, Devo, and Oingo Boingo thrown in for good measure. So for all this, and a brief discussion about guys who use flat irons, stick around.
Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast.
I don't know about you, Christian, but I'm looking forward to some fish and chips here in a few weeks.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. It's going to be so good.
That's right. When's the last time you, the Aquabats went to the UK, been to the UK?
It's prime UK weather too. February. Let's go. Right?
Yeah.
We went last year in the spring, like April, and we did this. Is it Soundwave tour? Is that it?
Over there would be, well, Soundwave is, I know, Slam Dunk you're speaking
Slam
of.
Dunk, dude.
Yeah. I was trying to think of where Soundwave used to be in Australia. Slam Dunk's
Australia.
the UK.
My bad. Slam Dunk. We did Slam Dunk North, Slam Dunk South, and we played some shows along the way. We got to play in Liverpool. Like, we did some headlining shows as well. We did Liverpool and Bristol, a few other places, but yeah, we had fish and chips on the dock in Liverpool, and I was feeling it. We were feeling it. This deep fried fish, you know.
Hey, nothing quite like it. You put the suit on and get on stage.
Oh man, you can feel the grease just coming out of your nipple.
Well, speaking of the suit, we're going to talk about fashion today with your song "Fashion Zombies," and it's so funny. My kids, I introduced them to the Aquabats yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. It's odd. They just saw Less Than Jake for the first time, so they were too young when we had toured with you in the States a couple years ago. But anyways, yeah, I just started out with this song because the video's hilarious. The song's great. The song was the lead single from your 4th album called Charge, which was released on Nitro Records June 7th, 2005. Produced by Cameron Webb.
That's right.
Take us back. You know, this song in particular, there's so many influences that I hear in it. And you guys kind of branched away from, you know, just being a ska band at this point. There wasn't any horns on this record. And the songs were a little more maybe new wavy and dancey than the previous stuff. But This song in particular, I don't know if this has ever happened in the Aquabats. And I remember the last time we were picking apart the lyrics to Super Rad, you're just sitting here rolling your eyes the whole time. But did anybody in the band, even yourself, I know what the Aquabats is about, but did you ever say, man, this is such a great song. Like, if I was able to not have this silliness, could this song be taken more seriously?
Yeah, I think we do that a lot, actually. And, we'll like stumble onto something and be like, wow, this is great. And then, of course, I just go and ruin it with lyrics. Total nonsense. It's just stupid. And I think I've driven that car off the cliff so many times where we're like, this is really a good song. Okay, let me wreck it now. So, sadly, not sadly, it's just what we do. We always have been just joking around. And I think that's a special weird formula with the Aquabats because, I dabble a little bit in playing music, but I feel like after all these years, we have some players in our band. Like there's some guys that can play and they're good.
Oh yeah.
And we can write songs. Like we can do it. But again, because of the nature of what the Aquabats are, it just tends to dip on the silly side and kind of it's satirical, It's kind of just having a laugh at the whole thing. And just to take you back a little bit, like history back to the time when Charge came out, Charge 2005, right? And Fashion Zombies was our lead single off of that record. Because of the nature of the Aquabats, like what we are, I think we were really lucky that we got a record deal to begin with, that we somehow we tricked somebody into like signing us up to make records, and so this record came out in 2005 at a kind of a low point in the Aquabats history. Like we had a deal with Golden Voice Records, which they're not really a record company, they're a promotional company. They promote concerts in LA and Southern California, and now of course they do the Coachella Festival, which they're very known for. But our second record, Floating Eye of Death, came out and basically at the same time that the record label was shutting down and imploding. And
that was in 99.
That was 99. And so
yeah,
we kind of free floated a little bit. We put out a B-sides record, Missing Legends, which, Pool Party and Pizza Day and some of those songs are on there, which were just B-sides. They were just like throwaway songs, which actually Pool Party, ironically, is like our most popular song. But it was like just chuck it in the fire song, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
We'd gone through all kinds of like tough times in the band. We lost members, people were leaving and, our wives were getting a little upset. I had a couple little kids by this time in 2004-ish. And, it was just like, should we keep doing this? I don't know if it's even worth it. Like we have families now. Does anyone even like this thing? Like we're just joking around and no one's taking us seriously. And this is like 99 through 2003-ish was like prime new metal, like Limp Bizkit and Korn and people like that were really serious about like working out their trauma through heavy music, drop D heavy drama, you know what I mean? And so we were like, are we serious? Like this is just a kind of a silly thing. Like, should we even do this? And Nitro Records actually threw us a lifeline right around then. And it wasn't like we were out shopping like, hey, do you want this novelty act that can write good songs and then ruin them with their lyrics?
Well, hey, I really hope you know where I was coming with when I was saying that, because the musicianship, and you're right, you've had some great players. The current band you have is amazing.
They're really good. And that was something we always wanted to do, is like, can we just go out there and be silly, but actually make people think twice? Like, these guys aren't just a joke. Like they're formidable musicians and they're having fun, and that's kind of always been like our mantra, is like, let's really be good. But then, it's like junior high. Like, I don't need this, like, it's like you're really good at sports or something. And then you're like, whatever, I don't care. It's like, it's still that attitude of like, yeah, whatever. We don't care, but we care. We want to play good. We want to sound good. We want people to dance. We want people to have fun. And
20 years ago when this was happening, I think we were all questioning. Here we were,
yeah,
bands of the 90s.
right. I'm sure
We're now in our mid 30s going, what am I doing? And I remember seeing, I'll use Blink as the example. I remember seeing them about 20 years ago and kind of thinking like, man, I don't know about it. The jokes, the eighth grade, potty humor.
Right.
Is this still working in a guy in his mid 30s? And then I saw them when we were young a couple months ago, and they were amazing because the hilarity of a now guy in his early 50s doing those jokes, kind of with you guys too. Like I think the suit looks better on you now than it did 20 years ago.
right now that you can't see my abs anymore at all. Right, they're just buried in there somewhere. Yeah, I think it's funny, and Blink. That's a great example. Like Blink blew up, and our history with Travis and the band, and that also was a little. It smarted a little bit that like guys we toured with or were like now on top of the world, and we were like, how are we going to pay our rent? And I have 2 kids, and do we go on welfare? And we did the like welfare cheese and food and stuff. Like being in a band sometimes is hard. It's hard, and we were pitching Yo Gabba Gabba and other shows, and I was trying to get other work going, and it was a tough time. So when Nitro Records signed us up and said, "Hey, would you guys want to do a record with us?" We kind of all sat in the room and looked at each other and said, "All right, well, let's give it one last try." And that's where the theme "Charge" comes from on the record. Like we're in a boat, and we're like, it's like. Washington crossing the Delaware, that was what we were kind of channeling a little bit. Like here, let's just give it one last try. Let's just see what happens, and Fashion Zombies was our first single, and we put some money into the video to make it silly. But yeah, so that's a little history about where we were at headspace wise.
Uh-huh.
In Charge, and we were taking it a little bit more seriously, I think, because it was kind of like, let's go out feeling good about it, like let's leave it all on the field.
I think you guys did Warped Tour that summer to promote the record.
Yeah, we did. Yep.
Because we weren't on it that year, and I do recall you guys being out there.
That was the first time, Offspring, because Brian Holland Dexter from the Offspring is Nitro Records, and so they took us to Japan, and they took us some places that we'd never played before, and it definitely breathed some life back into the sales of the Aquabats. Like we were pretty much on death's door, and going out on tour with those guys helped us a ton. And we went to the UK for the first time that year. Like we did a lot of touring on that record, which the last time we did that much touring was for Floating Eye of Death in '99, and of course, like our touring budget was just getting worse and worse and worse, and that was also a tough time. But yeah. Anyway, so I could talk about it all day, but just to give a little insight about where we were, and I'm sure where a lot of bands like us were at that time.
Yeah.
Kind of rethinking it, like, what are we doing here? Is this worth it?
Sure. Well, this is the first single from the record. It was the track 2 out of 13 on the album. Do you remember when you wrote it? And did the music come first, or did you have this idea? You're walking around, from the lyrics, you're talking about spiky belts, and I could kind of picture 2005, what's going on. And yes. I'm guilty of some of the fashion things in here.
Yeah,
I'll try not to take
exactly
offense.
What I'm talking about. Like, this was like prime MySpace era, like this was before Facebook really even like blew up. And it was MySpace, and there was a lot of bands doing MySpace, and it was that kind of like, there was like that the Zelda cut. We could talk about the lyrics, as we go, but to answer your first question, we were practicing a lot, and we were writing songs together, and this was probably the last time, and this is like 20 years ago, but this is the last time we would all get in a room and just bang stuff out, because with technology and everyone splitting up, songwriting becomes a little bit more, coupling up, like 2 guys here, a guy here, but this for Charge, and I think you can feel it on the record. We were all practicing together and in a circle, and like aiming at each other and getting ideas, and like, hey, change that or move this, or.
This sounds like the basic tracks were cut off the floor. That's what it sounds like here. It sounds like the basic tracks were recorded live.
Yeah, we kept a lot of the scratch tracks, and we played together as we were recording it. So like we knew this music well, but then to answer your second part of the first question, I was like, I don't know what to sing about. So most of the songs were done, and then I would go in and like, all right, maybe it could be about this, or maybe it could be about that. But for Fashion Zombies particularly, it had this kind of like, it starts off with a low end guitar, it's kind of like a building thing, and it sounded kind of spooky. And so my mind instantly kind of went to like, all right, what are people doing nowadays? There's this kind of like punk goth revival thing. AFI was doing their best Misfits.
Yep.
A lot of bands were doing that, Eyeliner and The Thing. And I was like, okay, well, let's kind of do like a tribute to the Misfits that's also kind of making fun of it a little bit, because I love the Misfits, don't get me wrong. And especially 15-year-old me, it was like best band in the world, but
Sure.
if you go see them, it's a little silly, it's like it's
a little campy.
It's kind of like Haunted House. Like you're going to like a Spirit Halloween store and watching some punk band, it's very funny. It's kind of funny. It's funny. It's like, if you can't laugh at the Misfits, I think you missed the point, like it's kind of funny. Right.
Well, listen, it is, and I want to jump into the song because there's a lot here, and going back to the musicianship of the band, I don't even know if you realize this. I've been through over 300 songs analyzing on this show in the last 6 years. I've never come across one like this. It starts with that riff, like you're talking about. This intro is your bridge. The first 8 bars. The second 8 bars are the pre-chorus of the song. And the third 8 bars of the intro are your chorus.
Right.
That is so cool. That is so cool how it builds. And I didn't realize it till I got it and I'm really combing through the songs. I've heard this song. I've heard you guys play it a bunch. But I realized that's what's going on here. Did you even know that or realize?
Now that you mention it, like, oh yeah, okay, I guess so. And maybe at the time, I'm not going to lie. I don't remember us consciously doing that. I think
Who gives away their pre-chorus in the intro?
Right. It just made sense. Right.
Yeah, hardly anybody though. That's a weird trick. It's really cool. The track's 3 minutes and 16 seconds. We get a drum fill into 8 bars of what's going to be the bridge. We'll hear it later. 8 bars of drums, bass, clean stereo guitars playing the song's main riff. The main riff there reminds me like something from the Munsters, like garage rocky. It's got that Halloween-y type feel too.
Right, and so then lyrically, it like lined up well because that's what the song felt like. And, a lot of times in writing songs, especially the Aquabats, because we don't try to write the same song over and over again. We're just writing stuff that's coming. And then I'll tell you though, the best way to write a song is to have an idea thematically and lyrically, and then go into the song going, hey, let's write a song with this, like I want to write a song about King Kong eating a banana split or whatever. And then it's easy, but it's hard once you've developed the music to make sure that the lyrics and the melodies of the vocals don't ruin the song or like take away from it. But I feel like with this song particularly, it worked good. So then we go, the chorus is kind of what Crash describes as a generic. He said it was kind of generic. And I texted the guys yesterday. So do you guys have any specific memories from writing this song that you have a different perspective of? And he thought that he was just writing kind of a generic type of a chorus. But then Corey, our guitar player, he was like, but remember we wanted to like add in all those Misfits kind of woes, like what? That's where that stuff comes right in is, the genius of the Misfits is it's simple, but there's this power in there with all the woes, like whoa. And, you've got that with so many songs from bands that you can think of with the power, the whoa chorus, whether it's hardcore or punk or whatever, or even just pop music. If you're singing something that's easy to latch onto, like woes, it's powerful. It's powerful.
Oh, I mean, bands like, Bouncing Souls and Gaslight Anthem made a career out of it. I mean, it's, Social Distortion. It's huge.
Right. Pennywise with Brohim, it's like.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, in addition, on these first 8 bars to that main riff, we're then joined by a synth from the original 60s series Lost in Space.
Pretty much.
This synth comes in. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's such a cool sound. I feel like I've heard it before, but at the same time, I feel like I never have. I mean, was it just a synth sound that was dialed up that was then processed? It's very strange.
Yeah. So this is interesting because the way Jimmy the Robot, our keyboard player at the time, and now he's kind of just fallen back to. It's funny, you guys have a JR in Less Than Jake, and we have a JR in the Aquabats, and they kind of do the same thing now. Just play sax and sing, cool backups, and Jimmy and JR are both great musicians, and they can sing really well. And so we thought now we have Jimmy just playing keyboards, but at the time, Jimmy he played sax, but we wanted him to just focus on the keyboards. And when we were practicing, he was kind of shy. Like he didn't want to put something forward that would get shut down or be, some people, their process is different. And some people can take the criticism or say like, no, I don't like that. But other people get offended. Like, well, I like it. So, that's part of band dynamics is like, but Jimmy didn't really want to participate super hard when we were, it wasn't that he didn't want to participate because he was there. It's just, I think he felt like maybe a little shy about his ideas. And so this is like a banger part of this song is the song was done pretty much. And then we're like, Jimmy, what are the keyboards going to be? He's like, don't worry, I got it. And he was like, could you guys just like maybe go eat lunch or something and like let me work it out with Cameron? And so we're like, all right. So we bailed and we came back like a few hours later and it was there and we were like blown away because I think that keyboard part really makes the song.
It does.
It's kind of like it's kind of a driving, like a heavy, low, almost like a machine, like brrr, like it kind of run. And we were like, where did you find that? And he was like, it just seemed like the right thing. And
you said machine. I wrote in my notes, you can't avoid it.
Yeah, right.
It is
so
just
heavy.
It is so heavy. It's percussive. It's got a whole thing to it. And after that part, we get 8 bars of drums, bass, and stereo guitars playing a choppy staccato rhythm and a new synth panned off left.
Yeah.
And then the snare here is double time. And then we get into the last section. That previous section, of course, was the pre-chorus. And now we're basically into the chorus of the song. It's 8 more bars of this same instrumentation, but the snare is no longer double time. And we get the gang whoa-ohs here, which foreshadow the chorus. And the last thing we hear here before we get into verse 1, we hear the clunker sound, I call it, of a video game, kind of. It's like it's like you lost on a game show or something.
Yeah, all the keys were done after the song was finished. So we thought we had like this kind of like poppy punk kind of dark punk sounding song. And Jimmy and Cameron did all the keyboards without us being there because, again, Jimmy, maybe for whatever reason, was feeling like, hey, guys, let me just try some stuff without everybody piling on because, it's a bunch of brothers and we're all like not afraid to say our opinions. And I think Jimmy was like, just give me a second. And he came back and he had just nailed everything. And all that stuff, all the different keyboards and the different pads, they were all in when we came back and listened to the song. And we were just like, dude, you killed it. This sounds so good. Like, because it'll sound like nothing I haven't. There's a lot of stuff you hear that's like that, but I'd never heard anything that was like that combination and that it was very unique. So
it definitely has its own vibe. And I love that. I've had that happen before where I've been told to take off if someone wants to work on a part and you come back and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I did leave. It gave them their space to work on this. them creep out to nightlife. You see them walk the streets. These children of the undead look dress for the endless Halloweens. And this horror-like production takes total dedication.
Total dedication.
Takes what?
Total dedication, man.
Yeah, okay. I thought I had the lyric wrong. Of black clothes and pale complexions, rock jet black hair to match their makeup.
Yes.
You know what else I love about this? There's really no rhyme scheme. Oingo Boingo didn't have a rhyme scheme. B-52's Devo sometimes didn't have a rhyme scheme. And I think with this particular kind of song and what the Aquabats do, it doesn't matter. I think it's great.
I think also to give a little bit more kind of inspirational insight for that, I think I was thinking of, it was like, we land in barren fields on the Arizona plains, right? Like that, Teenagers from Mars, right? So I wanted to give it a little bit of that kind of cadence in the lyrics to kind of, it was because, we're aping the Misfits a little bit, which the commentary of the song is about all the bands that were influenced by that style and look, and the MySpace bands with the like super tight jeans and everything's black and the black hair and the flat iron. And we toured with bands that toured with flat irons, we thought that was interesting. Like just as much as people would probably make fun of us for traveling with rubber helmets and masks, we thought it was kind of funny. Dudes would flat iron their hair and stuff before the show, but it was just a scene. It was like the look at the time. It was a thing. But obviously we were with our like silly outfits on. We were kind of just chuckling a little bit, like, yeah, that's a lot of dedication. That's a lot of dedication to look like that.
You also, whether you want to admit it or not, you become jaded. I don't care who you are. You're out in a band. I remember being on the Warped Tour. It'd be 8 a.m. and there'd be a kid next to me, full eyeliner, full makeup, doing the flat iron hair, and here I am, 36 years old, going, man, I kind of would like to pull that off to be current, but it's just not going to work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And who are we to say anything about people putting on a costume, but like
Sharpie mustache.
That's kind of the point, is like, we're all kind of prepping a look. We're all we're presenters. We're presenting something. And so the Aquabats are presenting, B-movie Buck Rogers, silly dudes, and just as much as the Misfits were presenting B-movie horror look, or the Japanese like Captain Harlock with the devil locks and all that stuff. Like they're kind of doing what they did, and we're doing what we're doing, and then so we were kind of just commenting on the kids that were doing it now their own thing, and not really ripping on it. There's a fine line between like appreciating it, but also recognizing that it's a little bit, like extreme.
It's a tongue-in-cheek homage.
Yes, exactly.
That's what this song makes me feel. And of course, you brought up.
It is Spinal Tap. It's like the guys that did Spinal Tap, they don't hate heavy metal. They don't hate rock. They love that stuff. But they also were acknowledging that it's kind of ridiculous. Like it is.
Yeah, there's an underlying absurdity to this whole thing that we need to uncover. Yeah.
Coming from the most absurd band of all, the Aquabats, like I think we were like, hey, we can point the finger at some other absurdities. Why not? See them creep out to nightlife, and you'll see them walk the streets. Basically, you see them everywhere. You can see this is how they are. Like this is a species of being, these fashion zombies. They don't walk this world alone. But we'll get back into that part. But like the first verse is kind of the setup. It's like it's the visualization of these zombies that are creeping out at not only at night, but like they're everywhere. So.
Well, verse 1, the drums, bass are in, but we get a guitar that's panned off left. The only time the guitars go stereo is when these little things happen panned off to the right. It's really cool. We get a harmonic after streets panned off to the right. We get a double harmonic after the line takes total dedication.
Yeah.
Yep, in both sides there. And then on the last line, we get like this chicka chicka that goes into pre-chorus 1. Sounds like the lead vocals here are doubled throughout the song. Do you recall?
I think we did. Yeah, I think so, to make them a little more powerful. And obviously, you listen to my voice and you can tell that I'm not a natural baritone. You know, I'm more of a tenor guy. I'm way up here, but like I was trying to get that. You know, I'm always trying with the back commander to be a little bit more baritone or low, like "Hey guys," or I try to sing in a little bit of a lower register.
Yeah.
And obviously, that's a little easier when you're double tracking. Like it's a little easier to get a little more bass power when you got a friend.
A little more with some more weight to it.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. So I think it's double tracked the whole song, and then obviously multi tracked in the chorus with other guys, like everyone else is jumping in there with the woes and stuff. So.
Hey everybody, don't go anywhere. We got lots more coming up with Christian Jacobs after a few words from our sponsors.
Looking to elevate your music career? DistroKid is a digital music distribution service that enables musicians to distribute their music to online stores and streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, Tidal, and many more. DistroKid collects earnings and payments, sending them to you, the artist. With DistroKid, artists unlock a world of possibilities. From easily paying collaborators with splits, to securing your music with DistroLock, DistroKid covers all bases. Plus, you can promote your releases with Hyperfollow and create eye-catching visuals with a Spotify Canvas generator, all for free. But that's not all. Introducing the DistroKid app, now available on iOS and Android. Artists can manage their releases, view streaming stats, and withdraw earnings, all from the palm of their hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. With its simple interface and customizable mastering options, artists can make their music sound polished and professional within minutes. And don't forget about Instant Share, DistroKid's newest feature. Share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more, ensuring your music streams at the highest quality. Ready to take your music to the next level? Download the DistroKid app and explore their suite of tools today. Plus, listeners can enjoy 30% off their first year by visiting distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes. That's distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes.
We heard you. 9 years of Bring Back the Snack Wrap, and you've won. But maybe you should have asked for more. Say hello to the Hot Honey Snack Wrap. Now you've really won. Go to McDonald's and get it while you can.
Kids. They grow up so fast. One day they're taking their first steps, and the next, they don't fit into the tiny sneakers they took them in. You blink your eyes and their princess dress is 2 sizes too small, and their dinosaur backpack isn't cool anymore. But don't cry because they're growing up. Smile, because you can profit off of it. For real, there are a bunch of parents on Depop looking for the stuff your kid just grew out of. Download Depop to start selling.
This Friday, Crime 101 hits theaters.
What is it that you do?
I take high-value items and make them disappear.
So you're a thief.
One crime connects them all.
I'm getting close. I know it.
But only one will walk away.
I underestimated you.
Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Barry Keoghan, and Halle Berry.
We're good at this.
Yeah.
Crime 101, directed by Bart Layton. Rated R, under 17, animated without parent. Special sneak previews Monday, everywhere Friday.
Time is valuable. That's why Lowe's Blueprint Takeoffs turn blueprints into quotes faster. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting easier so you can get back to building. Plus, at the Lowe's Pro Desk, you get access to thousands of building materials not sold in store. And when your order's ready, we'll deliver everything to the job site. Improving is easy at Lowe's.
Hey friends, have you been loving Krista Makes a Podcast? Well, spread the love by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't hesitate to share what you enjoy about the show in an actual written review on Apple Podcasts. Not only does it help more people discover us, but we often read reviews in the wrap segment of the show. It's a quick, cost-free way to support us and takes just a minute of your time. Your reviews mean the world to us and help us keep the podcast thriving. Thank you for being a listener, and thank you for being a friend.
And now back to the show.
Well, right out of verse 1, we go into pre-chorus 1, which is basically the second half of the intro instrumentation-wise.
And who can blame them? They walk through asphalt cemeteries. It's only fashions. They must have been born that way.
And who can blame them?
Who can blame them, right?
They walk through asphalt cemeteries.
The whole world is like a big funeral, right? Everything's
zombie fashions. They must have been born that way. What was the asphalt cemetery? Is that the mall? They're shopping for clothes?
Yeah, well, yes. Like our world, we live in a world of concrete. Everything's concrete and everything's poured over, and it's just I'm just kind of like leaning into the goth misery. Like the world is just a big tomb. We live in a mausoleum. We're all gonna die. So
well, you said goth misery, and you get those low, those Bauhaus boingo. Like there's I don't care who does those low ahs like that. They're always creepy and weird and cool, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that in pop music, and I watched this cool documentary about the Velvet Underground and how John Cale was really into like Gregorian chants and like the
droniness.
Droning, yeah. The droning, and how that has power in it and it emits different frequencies, and how we've kind of adopted that unknowingly, putting that into a lot of things in music and pop culture. But we add those old. They'd get in cathedrals and just do those, and it would build spiritual power, and you can kind of feel it a little bit in songs and things where it has that stuff. And you listen to old Velvet Underground, and there's those cellos. They're just going like the whole song. It's just hitting one note. It's pretty awesome.
I really hear like the AFI Southern California, even Dexter kind of Offspring vibe in this part, and those low ahs being here with it and the lyric. It's just hilarious to set us up.
Yeah, it's just silly. It's just fun. We're having fun with it.
It's great to set us up for chorus 1, which begins with a whoa-oh. So can you hear me? Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Can you get hip to what I'm saying? Whoa, oh. These fashion zombies don't walk this world alone. And this chorus is the third 8 bars of the intro, instrumentation wise here. And we get this swirling synth panned left that takes us into verse 2. But talk about this chorus a little bit. This is kind of the pinnacle. These whoa-ohs do absolutely make it sound like the Misfits. And it sounds like they weren't always there.
I think they were there. I think the original thing, according to Chainsaw or Corey, I was talking to him yesterday, I think we started the song, which is weird, by adding the woes in first. Like we did the woes.
I figured you added those to really take it over the top.
Well, obviously we wanted that, and I didn't know how I was going to put, what am I going to put that's more powerful than the woes? And so it kind of became a little bit more of a call and response. So it starts off, whoa, and then who can blame them? So it's kind of more like it's a callback, but it's almost a little preacherly too. It's like a little bit like you're in the big Notre Dame cathedral, and there people are singing, and then the preacher says, "Who can blame them?" Right? Or can you hear me? Can you dig it? Or what did I say? What I was looking for chorus again? I forgot. It goes,
so can you hear me? Can you get hip to what I'm saying?
Can you get hip to what I'm saying? And can you get hip to what I'm saying is probably a direct influence from Cyrus from the Warriors, where he's like, can you dig it? Can you get hip? Do you remember that part in the beginning?
Yeah, but even just the lyric itself, even without that's hilarious. I mean, can you get hip? Basically, you're saying these kids are hip, but you're not.
Yeah, right. Can you get hip to what I'm saying? Right. So, and then these fashion zombies don't walk this world alone. Basically means like, there are many of them. They're together and they're coming, right? They're coming for you, kind of a thing. on this tour, we were one of the few bands that I'm sure you guys did that got to play with whole wheat bread. And
oh, yeah.
we were actually on tour with whole wheat bread on this tour when Dirty Skeet got arrested for robbing a dollar store. But I just remember, like, it's kind of a crazy story. I don't know if you heard it, but like we were on tour and they didn't want to bring all their merch into Canada. So one of the guys stayed back with the rental van and was bored. And so he decided to like armed robbery at a dollar store.
I remember hearing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we came back from the show and we were like, where's Skeet or whatever? Or I think that was who got arrested. And they're like, oh, he's in jail and we're leaving the tour. Sorry guys, but it's been nice to know you. But I just remember on the tour, the first half of the tour, every time I'd see him, he would say, who can blame them? He would always be like making fun of the song. So like
that was his rallying cry to you when he'd see you at catering.
And then he got arrested. So who can blame him, right? He was bored.
Jeez. Well, after that
day off.
After that huge Alone, we get in chorus 1, we get that swirling synth I was mentioning, panned off left, and now we're into verse 2.
So lock those doors and windows, they crawl the malls to shop. For tight black jeans and spiky belts, and scissors for the Zelda cut. And there is no explanation. These creatures are just victims, dressed in expensive fashions, to look like they crawled out of coffins. And who can blame?
So lock those doors and windows, they crawl the malls to shop. For tight black jeans and spiky belts, and scissors for the Zelda cut. And there is no explanation. These creatures are just victims, dressed in expensive fashions, to look like they crawled out of coffins.
Which kind of rhymes. There's kind of some rhymey stuff in there, right?
Yeah, that was an interesting one, but and that one made me laugh because you're kind of getting explanation, fashion, victim. You're kind of in the world, and then you throw in coffins there, and it's like it doesn't work, but it does brilliantly.
Well, it kind of doesn't work, and it kind of does. It's like it's like hip hop. So everything doesn't literally have to rhyme as long as it kind of sounds good.
Talk to me about real quick. Let's just talk about this second verse here. Did you ever have Cameron or someone in the band go, I don't know, man, maybe we should swap verse 1 and verse 2, or I think this line could be better, or do they kind of leave you to your own devices? Like, he's going to come up with it. And
yeah, definitely. Back in the day, it was kind of just me on my own, and I think the guys, if they had suggestions or they had the lyrics or wanted to say something, we would, we would work it out and figure it out how to make a. But on this song, I think because it was late and the song was pretty much done. Cameron didn't have any notes, but now he'll have notes on everything. He loves to give me notes now, but like at the time, it just made it. I think in my mind, I thought it would make sense to kind of talk about the whole general idea in the first verse, and then the second verse kind of get into the nitty gritty of like what they look like and what they wear and what they're doing, and so but we could easily swap verses. I think I might have even sung it a couple times on accident, like backwards. But have you ever done that? I'm sure you have.
Absolutely. And there has been times when I think the second verse is a little stronger. I think it should be at the top, of the song, or vice versa or whatever. Right. And that can always get interesting because you've been sitting on something for 6 months singing it a certain way. It's like, wait a second, why all of a sudden now? And I always say it's different when you get it under the studio microscope, right?
It's hard sometimes to deprogram yourself if you're used to doing it one way and then going back the other way.
Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. Well, verse 2 got some cool stuff here. Instrumentally, it's similar to verse 1. The guitar is still panned off to the left here. We get a harmonic panned off left after the malls to shop. After Zelda cut, that guitar, the stereo guitar, only happens a couple chirps here. We get a cha-cha panned off right. And after these creatures are just victims, panned off left, we get another harmonic. And on the last line, to look like they crawled out of coffins, we get a cha-cha, cha-cha-cha-cha guitar panned off to the right. That's such a cool sound, those little overdubs. And let's talk about those if we can remember. These verses are pretty sparse, and those stereo guitars, when they come in, they're jarring, and they really hit your ear because there's not much going on here besides the vocal. Do you remember that being tough to figure out where you wanted those spots? Or
because I mean, part of me wanted to just chug through the verses, like just palm mute or like chug through them instead of he does something like bump bump bump. He's doing a riff. He's like going all over.
Yeah, it's awesome
things. And at the time we were only down to one guitar player, which before we had two, and we could do things like that live where we could have all those little stingers come in and because one guitar could be holding down the riff and the other guitar could be answering, like doing stuff. And there was a lot of guitar play. Like if you listen to the older records, Fury and stuff, Floating Eye of Death, there's a lot of like guitar play between the two guitars. And so what Corey was basically doing on this song was continuing the Aquabats tradition of doing basically a two guitar song, but he was just doing it himself. So, which is obviously he overdubbed all the little stingers and things like that. But Corey is like a tone wizard. Like his tone is so good, and he knows how to even just change it just a little bit so that like the overdub tone is a little different than the main rhythm guitar tone, right? Have you noticed? You probably noticed a little bit. It's just a little.
Yeah, no, it is, and the strumming and the attack on the guitar. It's all really interesting parts.
He's awesome. He is such a player.
No, these rhythms and how he accents certain parts and how he picks them are absolutely killer.
He's coming with us. He's coming with us on tour. So we'll.
Right on.
He'll be there with us. Another old guy in the band.
Well, coming out of verse 2, we go right into pre-chorus 2. Same overall instrumentation and lyrics as pre-chorus 1, but those low ahs. They're mixed noticeably louder here. Did Cameron mix the record, or did somebody else mix?
Cameron
mixed it.
Cameron.
Do you remember these being louder? These ahs?
I don't, but it makes sense.
They're noticeably louder, and it's so cool what it does, because when I go back and listen to the first pre-chorus, they're there, and it gets your ear tuned that, they're there, but they're not mixed that loud. The second time, that they're there, but now they're hitting you differently. You're not kind of wondering what it is. It's a really neat way to approach a mix.
Yeah, Cameron. Cameron, he's a wizard. Like, he does little things like that all the time, and it's cool to have, appear and notice little things like that. So on behalf of myself and Cameron, thanks for noticing stuff like that. Like, this is cool.
Oh, no,
it's really cool, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's I love stuff like that, and I always marvel at it. Out of pre-chorus 2, we go into chorus number 2. Same instrumentation and lyrics here. In my notes, I wrote, why mess with perfection? And I guess I already know the answer. Like, you're not going to change up. The chorus here kind of is what it is. Really, for me, this chorus is those whoa-ohs. That's really what the audience and what the listeners hanging on to here. So I don't think you had to change up the lyric. Was there any talk of a lyrical change ever for the chorus?
No, because I think in thinking back, this was the part we wanted everyone to sing the woes. Like, we want people to sing the woes more than we want them to sing what I'm singing, right? And because that's the easy part to latch onto is the woes, and like that's also, for the sake of the song, it's kind of the most ubiquitous thing about the genre or what we're talking about in this kind of like punk, goth punk kind of thing. Is like the most common denominator probably is woes. Like, it's like singing some woe. Right?
Well, I mean, and the power of the unison woe, we talked about it earlier. And when you're a young band, I mean, you can kind of all do that. I don't care how bad of a singer, you can kind of all chant and whoa at the same time. He can't play bass, he can't play drums, he can't play guitar, but we can all whoa. So, I mean, how many young punk rock bands were built just around that premise alone?
So many. I mean,
Southern California was the home to that.
I love it. Putting on my Walkman and skateboarding down the street to the Misfits and just singing "Whoa" by myself, like anyone.
Yeah, it was a level playing field.
It's a killer entry point, really, because it's powerful. It makes you feel powerful, and it's anyone can do it. And like, that's what punk rock is all about. It's what it's supposed to be about.
So can you hear me? Can you get him to what I'm saying? These ashes stories don't want this world alone.
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to accessorize their black zipper hood. And monster children with monster faces are looking for love in all the wrong places.
This bridge is one of the coolest parts of the song. This is actually the intro. The intro riff here is now a 16-bar spoken word bridge that rips a page out of the Michael Jackson song Thriller. And this part is killer. I mentioned, again, this is the first 8 bars of the intro, repeated twice here with a crazy flanged phase guitar panned off right, running loudly throughout. It's very synth sounding, that guitar.
Yeah, he had a bunch of effects on it, and I wish Corey remembered, because I was talking to him yesterday, but like we don't even remember what he was using.
It is such. I the first couple times I kept rewinding it, I was like, no, that's a synth, and I was like, no, that's a guitar. I can hear bends, and it's not like a toggle
bender thing on there. And
yeah, it's really, really neat. And then the last 4 bars of the bridge, we get a few stacked tracks of a maniacal laugh over a tom snare buildup, and then we get this synth panned off to the left. That's kind of a running theme here. That synth is doing something every time we transition to another part. It's like that, like the game show sound at the top, like you lose. And I love that that's also a running theme here. But here's the spoken word lyric in the bridge, and please let us know what was on your mind here. Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to accessorize their black zipper hood. And monster children with monster faces are looking for love in all the wrong places.
There you go. there it is. Little Thriller, a little looking for love in all the wrong places.
How did this part come about? Did you have a bridge, or did you say, you said earlier, like sometimes it's King Kong's going to have an ice cream sundae, whatever, floating down the river. And that's what the song's about. Did you ever say, like, I want to have a bridge that mimics Thriller?
I think, just in the like conventional way of writing a song, this song needed a bridge, but also because it's kind of a spooky song. So like most spooky songs have some kind of a bridge or like a weird, step up or whatever. And so it kind of just made sense. And I would bet, and I'm not for sure because I don't remember exactly, but I would bet that I had the lyrics for this part before I had the lyrics for the rest of the song, because it is such, it's just basically ripping off what Vincent Price was saying in Michael Jackson's Thriller. And then it has, looking for love in all the wrong places. Like it's just
who did that spoken word there? Was that, who was that?
I think it was me. Yeah, I think it was me.
Was it? Okay. You kind of adopt a different voice there.
I think we dropped the pitch a little bit on my voice.
Then that's what it is.
Which Cameron and I loved it. I love talking Cameron into pitching my voice lower or higher in different songs sometimes, just to be weird, But I'm pretty sure it was me. We pitch shifted my voice down a little bit, so it sounded a little more Vincent Pricey.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. The ridiculousness of it all, Which is it's fun, because Thriller is fun. It's a fun song. And
it is. And when something like this comes back and you're able to, I've always said it's, the hip hop guys weren't ripping anybody off back in the day. They loved those songs. They were taking those songs and, it's the same thing here. It's a
total homage. Like I love the Misfits. I love all those.
Yeah.
I love AFI. I love all that stuff. And I love Thriller, and I love Willie Nelson or Glenn Campbell. Who was it? Who did that song, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places? Is that Glenn Campbell?
I think that was Glenn Campbell, wasn't it? Looking for love. I'm sure Chris will tell us later.
Anyway.
Yeah. Coming out of this awesome bridge, we get another pre-chorus, same lyrics, same instrumentation, and then we get a double chorus to end the song. And on the last two bars of the song, when you're holding out that big alone, we get double time on the snare, ending with the synth dying off to the left and a single note guitar joining it there. So again, that synth is just a common theme off to the left at every transition, and it ends the song here. And Fashion Zombies comes grinding to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
And who can blame them? They walk through asphalt cemeteries. It's zombie fashions. They must have been born that way. So can you hear me? Can you get hip to what I'm saying? These fashion zombies don't want this world alone. So can you hear me? Can you get hip to what I'm saying? These fashion zombies don't want this world alone.
What is it now? 20 years later, I'm assuming you guys have played this at probably every show since then. What is it about this song you think that was instantaneous with your fan base, besides it being the first single of the album?
Well, again, there's an entry point. There's an entry point to punk, and punk rock is the entry point for our lives. Like for me, punk rock told me that you don't have to be amazing to do something awesome, and like you don't have to be this crazy wizard to make powerful, cool things. And I think that's what the essence of this song is. And not that we don't love ska. Of course we love ska, but for Charge and for Fashion Zombies, there was kind of a departure where if you had heard Fashion Zombies in a vacuum, like you didn't know anything about the Aquabats, you wouldn't think that this was a ska band. You would think that, it's kind of like a punk new wave kind of a thing, and that was okay by us because that's kind of where we came from, like that's where what we started listening to originally was punk stuff and obviously radio music and all that stuff as kids. But what we really kind of sought after, and the common denominator in the band was punk and new wave and like kind of alternative music, right? And I didn't also love ska too, but you know what I'm getting at is I think for the audience, the instant woes and that build up, there's a build up and then there's a break into the woes, and it's kind of like I guess the punk equivalent of when techno bands are doing that doom 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 doom, and then the beat drops, boom, like that's the woes are like the punk 808 kind of a thing, it's like that's the way we unite the crowd, and everyone knows it's coming, and even if you didn't know the song, by the second round of woes, you're in. You know when it's coming, and I think because of the way you laid it out to us, that we started with the pre-chorus and then we go into the chorus, and it repeats itself. When it's coming, and so that's become a definite crowd favorite because whether you know the song or not, there's an entry point, and it's punk rock. Like that's what we're all here to have fun and sing and jump around and land on each other, and it's okay, that's what we do, and so that has to be it. I don't know.
No, that I mean, I think you summed it up perfectly. I don't think I could have said that better. I think that all of those things, the woes are just such a huge landing point for fans. They can put their hands in the air, and even if you can't sing, you can still belt that part out.
Right. I think even if the song was about King Kong making a banana split and the woes, everything was still there, it still would be one of our more popular songs, because not just because of the woes, but the music is really great in this song. Everyone came to the table, and it was kind of one of those songs that for the Aquabats, it turned a corner for us because we were kind of in the dumps. We were kind of on the way out, and pulling a song together like this as a team, and everyone, whether it was Corey or Chad and this was Ricky's first record. Like this is Ricky Fitness's first record that he played.
Yeah.
And, Ricky was like, don't break up now, guys. I've just got here. Right. So it was a turning point to say, like, let's keep going. Like, let's keep doing this. So this was a really cool call out, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, I'm going to see you in a couple weeks on the Winter Circus. It's Barstool Preachers, which we had Tom here last week, the Aquabats, Bouncing Souls, and Less Than Jake. I think there's a couple tickets maybe left in some markets, so get out there and check it out over at lessthanjake.com. Christian, thanks so much for sitting in today.
Thank you.
I can't wait to have lunch with you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, man. Fish and chips on me, for sure.
Crush them all, big or tall, make them crawl, I'm fantastic, man. Double jump, front kick, karate body. Karate body. Karate body. Yeah, I'm gonna work it out. Hi-ya!
Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Christian. He's always a lot of fun, and I can't wait to talk about it with Chris in the rap segment that's coming up right after a few words from our sponsors, so don't go anywhere.
Hey everyone, Chris DeMakes here, and I've got some exciting news. Chris DeMakes a Podcast is now on Patreon. Your support is what keeps this show going, allowing us to bring you deep dives into amazing songs from incredible artists every week. When you join our Patreon at chrisdemakes.com, you'll get instant access to hundreds of episodes of The After Party, our weekly bonus show where producer Chris Fafalius and I talk music history, trivia, tour stories, classic albums, and whatever else comes to mind. Plus, you'll get early ad-free episodes of Krista Makes a Podcast, unedited video versions of each episode, and, of course, a brand new episode of The After Party every single week. If our show brings you a little joy, help us keep it going strong for just a couple bucks a month at chrisdemakes.com. Not ready to commit? No problem. You can sign up for a free membership while you decide. Thanks so much, everyone, and I hope to see you all at The After Party.
As we near the end of the show, here's a band you might not know.
Welcome to this week's Band You Might Not Know. If you'd like your band to be considered for Krista Makes a Podcast, email your best song via MP3 only and a short bio to bandyoumightnotknow@gmail.com. This week's feature artist is The Sleeping Company, which is an at-home dad that writes, performs, and produces everything himself. His influences span from aggressive punk rock to laid-back honky-tonk. His name is Brock, and he calls it at-home dad rock. Here's a snippet of their song, Everything Blue.
Collapse on stereo floor. If it had been me instead of you, it'd be my scars, it'd be
The Rap with Chris and Chris.
Chris, the song Looking for Love was by Johnny Lee.
Johnny Lee. Okay.
Johnny Lee.
Did he make it? Did he make it famous?
Well, he was the version from the film Urban Cowboy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought that was Glenn Campbell. I'll be darned.
Well, I knew that song as Wookin' Panub, as performed by Buckwheat, played by Eddie Murphy on SNL. Do you know that version?
Oh gosh, that was, of course.
Anyway, this episode was awesome. I loved when we had Christian last time. I loved it this time. Even before we started recording, I was wearing my Steelers hat, and Christian informed us that his brother-in-law is Chris Hoke, who was a Steeler for 11 years, and he told us a story about how a bunch of the Steelers, including Troy Polamalu, came out on stage and danced when Yo Gabba Gabba came to Pittsburgh back in the day when Chris Hoke still played for the team. That is his brother-in-law, Chris Hoke is of Christian. I thought that was a pretty cool story before we even started recording.
Yeah, he knows famous actors. He's got famous family members. This guy knows everybody.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I'm glad I know him because he's such a nice guy. You and I both said that before and after this episode. And there were so many things about this episode that I loved, Chris. First of all, a quote from Christian that I marked down. This is a really good song. okay, let me wreck it now.
Well,
which I think is so funny.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to see Weird Al get serious, okay? He's made a 40-plus year career out of not being serious, and kind of the same thing goes for the Aquabats, but you sometimes wonder, like there's certain bands that can write joke songs and have funny lyrics, Less Than Jake, or have serious lyrics, and there have been times, Chris, when Roger or myself will come in with an idea for a song, and maybe there'll be a lyrical idea. It's like, wait a second, these lyrics don't match the vibe of this at all. And with Aquabats, all it has to be is silly, right?
I've made this point so many times on so many podcasts and in so many conversations that just because a song is fun and silly doesn't mean that it can't still be a good song. And in this episode, I had already marked down these 3 bands, Chris, and it's so funny that later in the episode, you referenced them when you were talking about Rhyme Scheme, Devo, Oingo Boingo, and the B-52s. They all have, you have Rock Lobster or, like songs like that, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it's a good song. And I even referenced the Beatles. The Beatles sometimes had songs, Yellow Submarine, and, like kind of silly, fun songs, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good song.
Yeah, a lot of times songwriters, we get wrapped up with phonetics or, if something is grammatically correct or incorrect, and sometimes it just doesn't matter. It's what does it make you feel like? And as you and I know, doing this show, you got lyric people, you got some music people, you have some people that are into both, and sometimes it matters and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I also really loved the inspirational part of this episode, which to me was when he was talking about like, hey, the Aquabats, we didn't know if we were going to go on. We were all struggling, to get by, to pay the bills and stuff. And I just think it's so cool the way that Christian was able, and his band were able to turn the Aquabats into an awesome career, especially with developing Yo Gabba Gabba, a kid show and stuff, to be at what he was describing as kind of like a low point for them and to spinning it into something huge. I just think that's so cool.
Oh, yeah, they had a 6-year, in the notes here, you had written quasi-hiatus from recording. You know, they hadn't done anything, and as he said, that some stuff was in limbo, and lo and behold, old Dexter and Nitro Records came along, and here they are. I mean, the band is arguably as popular or more popular now, and I say this with pride. I know I'm going to see it in the UK, Chris, but when we did the run with them a couple summers ago, I think it was 2023, we took them out on a summer tour with us, and there were not only noticeably way more kids than ever at a Less Than Jake show, and we get our fair share, but they would leave after the Aquabats would play. And these, there was weeknights sometimes. They had to go home. These kids go to bed at 8 o'clock at night. And that didn't mean that they didn't want to give the other bands a chance or whatever. It shows you what they mean to the young audience.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. This song is from the prime MySpace era, and he got to talking about people flat ironing their hair. Chris, I got to admit, back when I had hair, used a flat iron a time or two, not as much as my bandmates did, but that was definitely a thing that you wanted to have, like these flat flyaways in your hair or something.
Yeah. I mean, I have no room to talk. I never flat ironed, but I did many other fashion atrocities. So
you definitely had some wild hairstyles, didn't you?
Wild hair. I had mullets. I was bad. Anyways, I was a fashion zombie at one point. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I remember you as a bleached blonde guy.
I was a bleach blonde fashion zombie.
One other thing that was touched on in here was that there are lots of ways to write songs, but in a certain light, nothing beats being in a room together and just banging out a song. Although, on the other hand, that can sometimes be the most frustrating thing in the world, too.
Yeah. I almost feel like, going back to how we used to do things like that, it's almost impossible. We've tried it. We'll go into pre-production and do that a little bit, but to start a song from scratch and do it that way, you'll sit there for 3 hours and you're staring at your shoes, and we feel like we don't get as much done as having someone kind of have a demo that's 3/4 of the way there. Now you get into rehearsal, you have a starting point to jump off of versus what do we do here?
That's key, unless you are an ultimate improviser. But to be honest, I need a few minutes. If I'm in that kind of situation, be it a bass line, a lyric, a melody, I need to like, hey guys, just give me 5 minutes so I can like work on this little thing and then come back into the room.
There's a fine line between spontaneity and, waffling around and spinning your tires.
Absolutely. And Chris, as you know, I'm sure we've discussed it countless times on this show, but it is a good point that you guys said. Woes are the way that a punk band can unite the crowd. Sometimes it feels like the easy way out or something, but then it'll be years later. And when a whole crowd is singing along the woes, you're like, okay, I get it. This is cool.
How many bands have we seen, Chris? My band was one of these at one point where people have their back turned to you almost the whole time, but you break into the whoa-oh and you have them for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, then they go back to drinking after. But hey, you had them during the whoa-ohs, didn't you?
Yep. Whoa-oh-oh, whoa-oh-oh, whoa-oh-oh. That's always a moment in a Less Than Jake set when you play that song.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what else is a moment. Head over to ChrisDeMakes.com where you can join up, sign up for our Patreon over there and get bonus episodes of the after party. And for a price of a cup of coffee a month, you can help keep the lights on here at Chris DeMakes a Podcast, the podcast you know and you love. Chris, do you have a review for us this week?
I thought you were going to say, you know what else is a moment? The moment in our podcast when Chris reads a review from Apple Podcasts.
That would have been a much better segue. Yes, it would have.
Talk about improvising and being on your feet in the moment, Chris.
Man, I blew it. Well, all right, Chris, what do we got?
So this week this is crazy. So this is a review from someone, you always want to know their name, Jatchison25, it's like J. Atchison25,
okay,
who wrote, incredible podcast, and then the written review was, check out the Bill Stevenson interview, episode 4. This very quickly became an essential podcast. But, Chris, they only gave us 4 stars. What do we... Incredible podcast, essential podcast, but I don't know if that was an accident and they meant to hit 5 stars, but or maybe they just think we need to get a little bit better.
I don't know. It might be my voice. My voice is changing as I get older. It's getting a little huskier. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we could do something to get that 5th star.
It can't be the husky voice because she went back all the way. I said she. Do we know if it's a she or he?
I don't know. Jatchison make you think of a woman?
Okay, Jatch is just a human person. We're not gonna try to gender Jatch. But anyways, thanks for the review. Wish you would have hit 5. We won't take it personal, but thank you for that 4-star review. Keep them coming. And want to thank this week's guest, MC Bat Commander Christian Jacobs from the Aquabats. We'll see you next week.
Hey, I'm Chris Fafalius, producer of Chris DeMakes a Podcast, and also host of One Hit Thunder. Each week on the One Hit Thunder podcast, we take a look into a one-hit wonder band or artist to determine if they deserved more success or if they were lucky to even have a hit at all. We've covered When in Rome, Jaquan, Shanice, Yellow, Squirrel Nut Zippers, Jesus Jones, Positive K, Mazzy Star, and hundreds more. With new episodes every Wednesday and special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we always have nonstop fun, and maybe, if we're lucky, we discover some new favorite music. So if you love great songs and you often find yourself asking, whatever happened to that band? Check out One Hit Thunder wherever you get your podcasts.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Tap the banner to learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.